Every single day, millions of barrels of oil move through one narrow strip of water that barely looks like anything on a map, yet it powers the modern world. And if that strip ever shuts down, everything changes. Not slowly, not gradually, but instantly. Oil prices explode, shipping collapses, economies panic, and governments scramble like never before. Now imagine a solution so massive, so expensive, and so technically extreme that it sounds almost impossible. A $200 billion canal designed to completely bypass that choke point forever. A man made a waterway so large it would cut through mountains, deserts, and political tension all at once. This is the story of the most ambitious infrastructure idea ever imagined, and why the world is still asking one dangerous question: can it actually be built? The Strait of Hormuz is one of the smallest but most important waterways on Earth. At its narrowest point, it is only about 21 to 33 kilometers wide, depending on how it is measured. Yet through this narrow passage flows roughly 20% of the world's oil supply. That is around 20 million barrels every single day. Think about that for a moment. A huge portion of global energy, everything from fuel for cars to electricity production and industrial power, all squeezed through a corridor that ships can cross in just a few minutes. On both sides of this strait sit some of the most important oil-producing nations in the world. Countries like Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran all depend on this exit route to reach global markets. Without it, their oil has nowhere easy to go, and that is exactly what makes it dangerous. Because whenever tensions rise in the region, the same threat appears again and again. The idea of blocking the Strait of Hormuz, even the possibility of closure, sends shockwaves through global markets. This single, narrow passage has been called the most important oil choke point on the planet. It is not just a shipping route, it is a pressure point for the entire global economy. Now here's where things become even more intense. There are pipelines in the region that try to reduce dependence on the strait, but they are limited. Together, they can carry only about 7 million barrels per day. That is far below the 20 million barrels that move through the strait daily. So even with alternatives, the world still relies heavily on this one vulnerable route. That imbalance is what sparked one of the most radical engineering ideas ever discussed. What if instead of depending on the Strait of Hormuz, countries built an entirely new route to bypass it completely? Not a small workaround, not a minor pipeline expansion, but a full-scale canal system stretching nearly 1,000 kilometers, cutting through deserts, coastal land, and even towering mountain ranges. This idea is often referred to as the Hormuz Bypass Canal concept. A project so large it would cost around $200 billion or more, depending on design and political conditions. To understand its scale, compare it to the world's biggest canals. The Panama Canal is about 77 kilometers long and already considered one of the greatest engineering achievements in history. The Suez Canal stretches around 193 kilometers and connects two major seas. Now imagine something several times longer than both, combined with far more extreme terrain. The proposed bypass route would potentially stretch from parts of the Persian Gulf toward the Arabian Sea, possibly reaching around 900 to 950 kilometers depending on the chosen path. It would not just be a canal dug through flat land. It would be an engineering battle against mountains that rise up to 2,000 meters in some regions. And this is where the real challenge begins, because ships do not climb mountains. So engineers would need a system of locks, tunnels, and controlled water levels that has never been built at this scale before. Each lock would need to be enormous, around 520 meters long, 80 meters wide, and about 30 meters deep to handle the largest supertankers in the world. These vessels are called very large crude carriers. Each one can transport around 2 million barrels of oil in a single trip. Think about it in your mind. A canal where these giants pass through multiple lock systems just across a mountain range. Engineers estimate that more than 200 locks could be needed depending on the final route design. Each one acting like a giant water elevator, lifting and lowering ships across massive elevation changes. Just building the lock system alone would be one of the largest hydraulic engineering projects ever attempted in human history. But before any of that can even begin, there is an even bigger problem: the mountains themselves. Some proposed routes pass through the Hajar mountain range, which is not just a small hill system. It is a rugged, rocky barrier that rises sharply and stretches across large sections of the region. To carve a canal through it, engineers would need to remove massive amounts of rock. We are talking about around 400 million cubic meters of solid material. That is not just a big number. It is an almost unimaginable volume of earth and stone. It is estimated to be more than 40 times the excavation done during the construction of the Panama Canal. In simple terms, it means moving more rock than almost any project in modern history. One approach would involve thousands of controlled explosions over many years, possibly tens of thousands of sequential blasts carefully timed to reshape entire mountain sections. Another approach would rely on tunnel boring machines, similar to those used in projects like the Channel Tunnel between the United Kingdom and France. But even that solution hits a wall because the Channel Tunnel has a diameter of less than 10 meters, while a supertanker canal would need something closer to 200 meters wide in some sections. There is no tunnel boring machine in existence that can handle that scale, so engineers would need to invent entirely new technology just to begin digging. And even if the land is cleared, another challenge appears immediately: water. Canals depend on water balance, especially systems with locks. Every time a ship passes through, huge volumes of water are needed to raise or lower it. The Panama Canal alone uses billions of gallons of fresh water every year. Now compare that to the Arabian Peninsula, one of the driest regions on Earth. That creates a massive problem. Where would the water come from? One proposed solution is to build the world's largest desalination system alongside the canal. This system would convert seawater into fresh water on a continuous scale, feeding the locks day and night. But that solution brings its own challenges, including energy consumption, environmental impact, and long-term cost. At this point, the project stops being just engineering and becomes geopolitics, because the canal would need to pass through multiple countries, each with its own interests, alliances, and security concerns. Security becomes a central issue. A canal of this scale is not just infrastructure, it becomes a strategic asset. And anything strategic becomes a target. Military experts warn that such a canal could become a high-value choke point of its own. Ironically, the very thing it is trying to solve might reappear in a new form. A single blockage, even a deliberately grounded tanker, could shut down global oil flow again. That creates a paradox. You build a canal to escape vulnerability, but the canal itself becomes vulnerable. And that vulnerability has a cost. Defense systems, surveillance networks, naval protection, and constant monitoring would all be required. Now let us talk about money. The estimated cost is around $200 billion, close to the Apollo space program when adjusted for inflation. And that is just construction. Maintenance and security would continue for decades. Then there is time. Experts suggest 20 to 25 years minimum, assuming everything goes smoothly. But large projects rarely do. So the question becomes, is there a better alternative? Several already exist. Pipeline expansions like the Habshan system, the Saudi Petroline, and the UAE Cross-Peninsula Corridor all reduce dependence on the strait. Some are cheaper, faster, and already operational or under expansion. Then there is the biggest alternative of all, the global shift toward renewable energy and electric vehicles. If oil demand drops over time, the importance of the Strait of Hormuz could naturally decline. So the world is left with three paths: build massive infrastructure, expand pipelines, or wait for energy transformation. Most experts believe the full mega canal will likely never be built in its original form, not because it is impossible, but because it is too complex and too expensive. However, a hybrid future is more realistic. A network of smaller bypass systems working together to reduce dependency on the strait. Because history shows something important. The Panama Canal was once impossible. So was the Three Gorges Dam. Every generation has its impossible project until it is not. In the end, the Hormuz Bypass Canal is not just about engineering, it is about control, security, and the future of global energy. So whether it is built or not, the question it raises changes everything. Do we keep relying on vulnerable choke points, or do we start building our way out of them? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share for more stories like this about massive engineering ideas shaping the world. And let me know in the comments, should the world actually build a $200 billion canal to bypass the Strait of Hormuz, or is there a smarter way forward?